If I top this one more time, I will quit golf. Not again. Did I just lift my head again? Honey, keep your head down. I've heard it so many times. Very well meant advice. Is it true though? Should you keep your head down? Should you keep your chest down? Or should you extend and get taller in the backswing and the follow through? I've got answers. So I decided to go inside and show you how the torso is supposed to be moving. I've got the K-Best switched on. It's probably over here. And I want to show you how the torso moves from setup to the end of backswing, back to impact, and back to the top of the golf swing. So at setup, I believe most PGA Tour players have between 35 and 45 degrees of forward bend. So you're going to hear a little tone, and the avatar is going to go into green if I go between that range. There you go. So you can see that again. I can forward bend, and I can go to the end of the backswing. This is called flexion and extension. On the lesson tee or on driving edge, you hear always people say, don't stand up. Well, maybe we have to change our thinking a little bit. Maybe it's a good thing. We're going to have a quick look at a golf swing where I don't stand up and I stay in my posture the whole time. So I'm going to be in my setup now, about 40 degrees, and I'm going to turn into my backswing, into my follow through, and I'm trying to stay down, trying to keep my head down and not stand up. You can see that it looks like a pretty funny golf swing, right? So we have to understand that we actually have to get taller in the backswing, and we have to get smaller into impact again, and then back taller. It's the only way for the head to stay steady. You saw in my swing before that my head got wobbled quite a bit to the right, quite a bit to the left, because I stayed down for too long, right? So now we're going to change the flexion to more extension in the backswing, and you can see in the numbers on the top right corner there of the K player that's changing. So I'm going to start to get taller and taller. The music stops playing. There you go. I should be around 0 degrees, maybe a couple degrees forward bend, coming back down to impact. Should play again. And then I'm getting tall again into a negative ranges there, right? So I'll show this again. At setup, we have forward bend. At the end of the backswing, it should be pretty upright. At impact, it should be flexed again. And in the finish again, I'm fully upright again. So we actually constantly have to change our chest and our head position. Clearly, it's not a good thing to stay down, keep your head down. You're going to look very funny. You're going to move, once again, you're going to move too much to the right. Music is playing. And too much to the left, right? So you can see it makes it very difficult to control the low point. Let's talk a little bit about advantages of how much torso extension I need, how much I should lift up in the backswing. And I think there's advantages to excessively lifting, excessively extending, for example, in chipping and pitching. I'm going to start in my forward bend there again. You can hear the music playing. I'm going to extend, go into like negative ranges, and that makes it so easy to bottom out on the left side of the ball, right? So like the more somebody extends and gets taller and the head starts to move left, typically they're very good in short game, very good at pitching, because it steepens the shot quite a bit, and you can really hit the ball crisply that way. It just causes some trouble with the driver. So I'm going to move over to the orange rip real quick here, please. If you don't mind, send me the orange rip. My wife, right? So this is the length of the driver. And again, I go into my forward bend at setup, hear the music. And now if I were to extend and extend and extend and extend, that would make it very hard to hit up on the ball. And the low point would be too far after. I'm going to show this in a little bit here, in a couple of minutes here on outside again. So with the driver, we do want to extend, we do want to get tall in the backswing, but not at the cost of going to negative ranges. Let's do about 10, 15 degrees of forward bend at the top. go, that's a much better situation. And then when I get tall again. For chipping, I am totally okay with you extending a lot. The head starts to move more left. Negative ranges for the driver. Please don't do that. We're going to move more over behind the ball. And I'm peaking right now. Still has about 20 degrees of forward bend. Right, so I'm going to peak real quick here. Make sure I can really do that one more time. Chipping. Going to go into negative ranges there. There you go. Perfect. And then with the driver, I'm going to move to about this range here. Right? So with the driver more behind the ball because I'm staying more flexed. My abs crunch more in. For chipping and pitching, totally fine to do this. Right? Once again, this is forward bend. For chipping, feel free to extend as much as you can, especially in your T-spine. For driver, turn and extend just a little bit. There you go, that's driver, wedge, driver, wedge. Let's go back outside and we're going to see the differences in chipping and pitching. Alright, we're going to start with chipping. And to make you guys understand that we have to get tall twice. Once in the backswing and once in the follow through. Here we go one more time. The unorthodox staying down with the chest and with the head. And staying down. No control, brought him out there. Now I'm going to get tall in the backswing and tall in the follow through. Tall and tall. That looks much more like a proper form, doesn't it? Tall and tall. But Chris, if I get tall, I'm not going to hit the ground. Well, the reason why you don't hit the ground is because you're staying small and you pull your arms in. Only if you get tall and tall, you can extend your arms and your wrists down to the ground. Lean left and tall. If I go to the right, let's try it. We're going to top it on purpose. Lean right. Does it look familiar? Probably does. If I do this, I would have to drag on the handle so much to get somehow to the left side of the ball. We can do it. It's just not nice. And every good pitcher in the world extends and leans left. Gets tall and leans left. There you go. One more time. Tall. Down the line view one more time before we go into full swings. Tall. Tall. Even on a tiny chip shot like this, I'm just going to hit it right there. Tall. Tall. It's going to hit 2 yards longer. Tall. Tall. Right, so gotta move up and down on the backswing, up and back up. Right, so that's the only way for the head to stay centered, and it's going to help you a lot to control the low point. Once again, the big message here is please get tall, everyone, all the time. We have to get tall in the backswing. We have to get tall in the forward swing. That's the only way for us to keep our head pretty centered, and that makes it easier to control our low point a little bit to the right of the driver and a little bit left half of the ball with the wedges and shorter clubs. So that makes it easier to be good at every part of the game, not just be good at one of the part of the game. Typically, if somebody only has this in their bag, I don't mind that. I would trust that their wedges and their 9-irons and 8-irons fly just fine. but problems with the driver and vice versa. If somebody does not ever extend too much, I'm going to assume you're going to hit it pretty decently off the tee, but you will have a hard time with your wedges and downhole shots and left shots.